Hello and welcome back. This is Module 1, Lesson 4. We're still covering the grieving process. This is the importance of self-care. So, I hope you've been okay and doing well so far. I do hope that by now things are beginning to become a little clearer for you and your mind is beginning to calm down after the traumatic event. It takes time, so don't beat yourself up on anything and learn to celebrate every little win. In this lesson, we will look at the importance of self-care, and this is really crucial for your healing process. What is self-care? Self-care means exactly what it says. It is looking after yourself or taking good care of yourself. After a traumatic event such as a divorce or a breakup, you need to look after both your emotional and physical well-being. If we look at this umbrella, if you are under the umbrella when the rain is falling, it means you're protecting yourself from being wet. And the same goes for your emotions. If you don't look after your physical body while you have a trauma like the one you have currently, your emotions will be well beaten and you won't recover quickly. So self-care is hugely important because you need that to stay healthy and sound so that many things do not go wrong for you. Especially now, you need to be strong enough to replan your life so you can have a much better future going forward. Well, are you still weepy? I hope you know it's okay to cry. Yes, you can cry, hopefully in private, when you feel like you're getting overwhelmed by your negative emotions. But don't overdo anything. If you cry too much or too frequently, people will wonder what the problem is. And if you have children, they wouldn't know how to process that. So, yeah, it's okay to cry, but don't overdo it. Here are some ways to reduce your weepiness. Take control of your space at home. Remove all reminders of your ex. Things like photographs, books, clothing, etc. If they are still hiding somewhere in your wardrobe, well, remove them. Replace them with images that bring you comfort, such as positive quotes, photos of you and your children alone, without your ex in them. So do everything you can to clear your own space of all your ex's belongings, because emotionally everything you see that belongs to your ex will remind you of them. So reduce him or her to just my ex. Don't use their actual name when you're speaking about them. One thing to do is to reduce the image of your ex in your life to a minimum. Stop retelling your miserable story to every Dick and Harry. People don't really care. They might pretend they do, but they don't. They have their own issues to deal with. Besides, the more you talk about your ex and your breakup or divorce, the more miserable you'll be. Trust me, I know. Because every time anything reminded me of my ex, or I got a nasty letter from him, or saw a picture of us together in the past, I broke down crying. So you don't want to be like me. If emails are a problem and your ex is sending you constant email reminders of one thing or other, or even his lawyer or her lawyer sending you these things, well, create a new email address which you only check at a time that is most convenient for you, so that you don't have to check it at work or while you're with friends or anything like that. You just decide to compartmentalize it and put these emails in a place where you only see when you want to see them. Choose to check this only when you think you can handle negative emotions positively or effectively. Here are some ways to start caring for yourself. Practice self-love by forgiving yourself. Show a lot of love to yourself by being kind and caring to yourself. Accept what has happened and do not beat yourself up for it. The reason people don't heal on time is because they're constantly thinking, maybe I could have done something differently. Well, you can't go back in time, unfortunately. We're not given that ability. So instead of beating yourself up for something that is in the past, consider how you can apply whatever lessons you've learned from the past to your present time. And currently, if you're still healing from this pain, be kind to yourself. Practice self-love and treat yourself as you would treat a friend in need who has come to you for help. How to overcome the pain of a loss of something or someone you loved. I'll share this story with you. When I was 23 years old, I lost my 4-month-old baby girl after a 3-day illness. I found it extremely hard to process my loss. She was my second child, and I was at university at the time studying for English, for an English degree. And I lived far away from my ex, with whom I had the baby. Unfortunately, this child died just after 3 days illness. I couldn't cope with it. I mean, I cried so much. I blamed God. I blamed everything around me. Worst of all, I blamed myself. I thought it's because I'm studying away from the child. That's why that child died. But I don't know what else I could have done in the situation. So when I went back to my course at the university after that loss, a reverend gentleman, one of my professors, gave me a framed quote which enabled me to get over my pain very gradually. And here's the quote. This quote is attributed to someone called Reinhold Niebuhr or something like that. And it was written a long time ago in 1892. Between 1892 and 1971, we don't know the exact date. It goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is vital because we can only change some things in our lives, but there are certain things, when they happen, that we cannot change. And there's nothing better than knowing which one you can change so that you can make an attempt to change that, or letting go of things you cannot change, because you're not God. I mean, there's no way of going into the past and changing things. So practice repeating this humble request from God or whoever you believe in. It helped me heal because I let go of the things I couldn't change. For example, bringing my daughter back from the dead. I started practicing how to move on with positivity. I told myself, God knows best. You are still young. When the time is right, you will have another child. And as God would have it, I went on to have 5 more children. So it was worth my while learning to accept the things I couldn't change and the courage to change the things I could. And in that situation, it was the courage to change how I felt, and then the wisdom to know the difference. If you can apply this in your own life currently, you will find that it will give you a lot of comfort, because you will now be in charge of what you can change and what you cannot change, so that you start afresh to look forward to a better life for yourself. The next thing is to learn to forgive your ex. Forgiveness is not really about the person who has hurt you. It is more about you. So forgive your ex, whatever he or she has done to you. I imagine you're wondering why you should forgive your ex. Well, have you heard of this saying? To err is human, but to forgive is divine. It is human to do wrong things, but godlike or divine to forgive the person who has done you some wrong. Well, if God decided to beat us up for everything we did wrong, I'm not sure any of us will be here now. So the longer you hold on to the thoughts of hate and resentment of your ex and all that happened between you, which weren't your fault, the more emotional pain you will cause yourself. So remember, the fact that you are holding on to the pain has no way of affecting your ex negatively. The only one who will be affected negatively is yourself. And if you were like me, you would be losing a lot of sleep because you're holding on to the pain instead of letting go of it and forgiving your ex. In fact, the act of forgiveness is the act of self-release from unnecessary pain. So forgiveness helps you to heal much faster. So do your best to practice forgiveness. The next thing is to look after yourself physically, or look after your physical body. Start by eating well. If you are like my younger self, anytime I was upset by my ex when we were still married, I lost my appetite. So I would go for days with hardly any food. That made things worse for me because I was unable to sleep well. And I also couldn't perform well at my job. I was tired and miserable. And I remember my ex used to laugh at me. He used to say to me, well, okay, Grace, so you cook for me and I sit down and I eat and I'm happy. But you refuse to touch the food. So who is suffering now? Do you think it's me? I know I may have annoyed you. Am I the one suffering? I'm eating and I'm happy, but you're refusing to eat. So you're just punishing yourself, aren't you? And I took that seriously. I think he's right there. I may not like what he's doing to me, but If I'm suffering by punishing myself even more, I'm just making my misery worse than it should be. So don't let your anger or your grief deprive you of good, nutritious meals. Your body needs to be properly nourished, so eat well: vegetables, fish, protein meals, carbs for energy, and so on and so forth. But whatever you do, please do not indulge in intoxicating things like alcohol or drugs. Avoid extremities, because you will harm yourself in the long run with them. Now take regular exercises. This is, again, I think I've mentioned this before, but it's part of your self-care regime. Find time to take a walk outdoors or any other exercise for about 30 minutes or so each day, if you can. If you have an exercise buddy, as suggested earlier, arrange to do some of the exercises suggested with him or her. To make it work, create a time when you can take a short walk safely. It could be walking to your nearest supermarket instead of driving. Take a short jog in your garden if you have one. Swim in your nearest gym if you can. Dance to some nice happy music that you love in your living room or your bedroom, whatever you choose. And do whatever enables you to move your body and take in some fresh air, because it will do you good. Help your children heal from the pain of your breakup or divorce. Now, why is this important? It is important because if you're healing quite badly from it, or creating situations where the children see you as a miserable mother or father, you are spreading the pain to them. They will just sit in one corner, afraid of what might happen next, sometimes even blaming themselves for what's happening to you, but you know it's not their fault. So if you have children from this broken relationship, you need to consider their welfare too. Remember, they may not yet understand fully what has happened between you and their dad or their mom. From experience, I know that children also suffer immensely from a broken relationship. Most of the time, they think they caused the breakup. Poor kids, they don't know that it's between the adults. So suddenly the other parent is no longer there with them. Perhaps they have also witnessed the parents fighting and shouting at each other. It is your duty to help your children start the healing process as soon as possible. The other thing you should do is to practice mindfulness. Being mindful means simply noting what is happening, and as best as we can, just letting it be. So what is happening right now in your life, right this moment, is important. Mindfulness teaches us how to reduce stress and manage panic attacks as well as how to be happier and calmer in the ups and downs of daily life. Sometimes we miss present delights or make our difficulties harder as we become consumed with thoughts about the past or the future. But the thing about these two things is that none of us can either go back to the future, none of us can go back to the past or catapult ourselves to the future. Our life is in the present moment. And whatever we are doing now is the most important thing in our lives. We can't go back to even 2 minutes ago. So it's important to know how to make sure that your mind is not running away with you and that you're focusing on what you're doing right now. So mindfulness means we can notice our current thoughts, and through letting them go, especially if they're negative thoughts, we can find calm in the midst of life's challenges and respond more effectively to them. So practice mindfulness by noticing what is currently going on. You may also do this by meditating. So let go of the thoughts of the past, especially if they are hurtful. Practice gratitude for the here and now. And what do I mean by that? You may say to me, well, I have nothing to be grateful for right now. But you do. So if you think your experience with your ex has not taught you anything good at all, I think you'll be mistaken. Look at how you started at the very beginning and what you are like now. I'm pretty sure you're wiser by now. So be grateful for them. What are the lessons you've learned? One thing could be that you're a bit wiser now. You now know how people behave in relationships. Certain things you have done in this past relationship, you probably never thought you would have done if you had never gone through it. Also, perhaps you have children from this relationship, which you didn't have before it started. So why not be grateful for that? Notice other people in your life. Be mindful of their presence. Don't concentrate on yourself alone. Whoever you're with, your children, your workplace, or whatever you do, notice other people in your life and be mindful of their presence. Be present. Now, what do I mean by that? Being present means taking note of little things in the here and now. You know, the chirping of the birds, even aeroplane getting past like it just did in my case. The sun shining. And if you're outside, the lovely gentle breeze. Other people being happy. Just notice things as they are and be grateful for that. Be grateful for life as it is today. A heart that is full of gratitude is also the sort of heart that attracts a lot of blessings from the universe. So research and learn more about mindfulness, as this can improve your ability to let go of your past experience. Assignments for lesson 4. So create a self-care regime timetable for yourself. Write down in your journal what went well during the week. What can you improve on? Which of the suggestions in this lesson resonated most with you? Explain how that or those techniques are helping you with your recovery. Research mindfulness and make notes on how you can use this to improve your life on a daily basis and also to improve your self-care so you can heal faster. Hey, congratulations! You just completed another very important lesson on this course, the importance of self-care. I suggest you take some time to go through what you've learned and then start practicing them, because the more you put into practice what you're learning, the faster your recovery will be. Okay, these lessons are designed for you to take action, not just study and put away. So don't rush through everything. Just take one video per day if possible, and even take longer if you choose, so that you are able to go through all the suggestions I've made and then start practicing what I've said to do. Okay? In the next lesson, I'll show you how to let go of your past through a meditation exercise. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you soon.